Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for having us at UCLA and the Global Sports Business Forum. We are Team USC, and we are so excited to talk to you all today. Just as a matter of quick introduction, our team consists of Kaushik, who comes from the world of fintech, Jordan, who comes from the world of sports, Ayushi, who comes from the world of consulting, and myself, who comes from the world of technology. So let's dig into it. What we would like to talk to you all today about is about the challenges associated with conference realignment and the opportunities that we are seeing associated with it. So we all know that student athletes have to balance a lot. They are expected to perform exceptionally well on the field, and also they have to deal with their other responsibilities. With the new conference realignment, they will be under more stress than ever because they'll be spending more time traveling and less time with their support networks. Speaking of strain and stress, these schools have a new logistical challenge, having to deal with transporting their teams and their equipment from schools or to schools that they've never had to compete with against before. Finally, conferences have a challenge of trying to deal with PR. There's some criticism that these moves were made more in service of TV revenue than the quality of play and the welfare of the players. Fortunately, our solution addresses all these things and makes life easier for all of these stakeholders here. With that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Kaushik.
Thanks, Will. So we've seen that the recent conference realignment has negatively impacted the schools, the conferences, the athletes, as well as the fans. So we've come up with a strategic partnership which will in fact solve all of these challenges, and we'll go through each of them one by one. So the goal for the strategic partnership is the sky's the limit. So what we are proposing is a strategic partnership between the conferences as well as the airlines. As a part of this partnership, what we're proposing is that the airlines can team up with the conferences to plan out their logistics, to plan out their travel, and to also offer significant discounts to schools in order to schedule for the matches for all the away games. And what we're also proposing is that as a part of this partnership, that the schools get significant discounts while booking these flights and also helping them reduce their costs. So the way we've strategized this partnership is through a strategic pairing between, I can give you an example. So for example, the SEC pairs up with Delta, whereas Big Ten can pair up with United. And we'll be talking about Big Ten as well as United for the sake of this presentation, just to understand how this partnership is going to affect all the stakeholders involved. So before we dive deep into how this partnership is affecting our fellow athletes, let's look at the impact that the athletes are going through at this point. So because of the longer flights, the longer travel hours, students go through increased fatigue, they're spending lesser time with their family, because of which they also go through a lot of mental health challenges. The other aspect that we're also looking at is, since you're always on the road and you're traveling from East Coast to your West Coast, it leads to a lot of jet lag, leads to stress, and also helps, and also like you're spending significantly lesser time going through your academic content, which also reduces athletes' goals of like their future job opportunities. So let's see how our partnership can actually help solve all of these challenges. So the conferences as well as the schools, in partnership with the airlines, can figure out a schedule to basically schedule late-night flights, and it will help them go through and also reduce their fatigue, help them reduce their mental stress, and also help them spend more time with their families. We're also planning to propose a family discount scheme, as a part of which they get to spend a lot more time with their families and fans, and that helps the athletes boost their morals. We also plan on leveraging the in-flight entertainment system to stream the academic content so that they are on track with respect to their academics, and also we plan on implementing some of the strategies like how do we spread awareness about mental health as well as financial literacy, because our athletes need all of this to become successful in their lives. So these are some of the benefits, and the other benefit is that it also leads to increased opportunities for jobs for athletes, because they can get into corporate development with respect to various airlines as well. I'm going to hand it over to Jordan for the next part.
Awesome, thank you, Kaushik. So as Kaushik outlined, there's a lot of consequences that student athletes are facing due to realignment that are being solved by this. But what about the schools in the conference themselves? For the schools in the conference, they will see reduced travel costs. So it's going to save them money. This partnership will allow them to significantly reduce the financial burden of planning and purchasing the travel arrangements for their student athletes across all sports. The second benefit would be increased revenue and future donations. And I know as a double Trojan, as a big USC football and basketball fan, I cannot wait for next year to travel to Ann Arbor to see them play Michigan, or in future years to State College and see them play Penn State at a whiteout game. And I have family in the Midwest and friends on the East Coast who have been blowing me up the last 24 hours since the official opponents were announced for football. Everyone's trying to make travel arrangements. The biggest barrier to going to these games, though, is that cost of travel. And through this partnership with United being able to provide discounts to students, alumni, to families, that burden of cost will be reduced and more people will be able to travel to more games. This will have a big ripple effect. Not only will schools get the revenue from fans buying from their ticket allotment, but also it'll likely increase more merchandise revenue. And through these experiences, when you go to an away game, have an amazing experience tied to USC, you are more likely to repeat that experience and become a repeat customer and continue to travel and spend money through the athletic department. Another benefit to the Big Ten is they're able to work with United when scheduling the conference schedule. And they can schedule the conference games and locations and times based on the optimal travel schedule, and that's something that partnering with United will provide them. And finally, this is a step in the right direction for the Big Ten, showing that they do in fact care about the well-being of their athletes, and they're trying to mitigate some of the consequences of this realignment. Next slide. So you might be wondering, why would United want to go into this partnership? Well, for United, they would be receiving a ton of branding opportunities to build brand awareness, and we'll get into a little bit more detail on that shortly. Brand loyalty is another big one. These student athletes are 18 to 24 in a prime time of their life where they are making purchasing decisions for the first time without necessarily the influence of their parents and their preferences. To be able to build this brand loyalty with the student athletes, you're building hopefully long-term customers. You are also able to build loyal customers through the families and the fans that are going to be using United to travel at a discount to these games. They're going to earn travel miles and likely continue to spend with United down the line. United will also be getting a guaranteed revenue ahead of time as part of this partnership. And businesses love being able to have that guaranteed revenue on the books, and it'll also help them forecast demand, inventory, and other projections to better optimize their logistics. Next slide. The biggest potential ROI from all this is the brand awareness opportunities for United. And I say potential because it's very hard to exactly measure the financial ROI from these brand awareness opportunities, but there's a reason that airlines are the second biggest spender on sports sponsorships. Sports make up 8% of the domestic travel market, which is over 190 million flights annually. So there's a lot of opportunity here. The brand awareness would be tied to Big Ten Network, which is the most watched college-focused channel and network. They have access to the social media from all of the schools and the conferences. And they have access to become naming rights partners for Big Ten championships and Big Ten tournaments. So it's not just about capturing more of that 8%, it's about growing that 8% and getting more people to travel for sports. I'll now pass it to Ayushi, who will talk about risks and next steps.
Thank you, guys. Okay, thanks. So like we know, with every new collaboration, we have certain risks we need to take care of. Can you go back? Thank you. So one of the risks that we have to take care of is the safety of our athletes. I am a LeBron James fan, and I know that his son will be playing for USC this year. If I know that he's playing against Michigan tomorrow, I'm going to figure out he's flying with United, and I'm going to book the late night flight like he would be, and I'm going to probably try and meet LeBron James and his son both. So this is a safety concern for the athletes we need to take care of. At the same time, we know that it's very difficult for us to measure the ROI for the airlines in proper monetary terms, but they will be making a lot of money in this. We also have a lot of more air travel coming, which will increase our carbon footprint. And yeah, so we have to go to the next steps and figure out what we have to do to get this collaboration in place. Next slide. We need to check the existing contracts that are in place. For example, USC has a contract with United already. We need to make sure that the contract with USC is not a hindrance between the contract with United and the Big Ten. We also need to have our field officers getting to it and getting the nitty-gritties of the terms and conditions done as soon as possible. Next slide. So we have seen we have certain issues with the conferences realignment, but our collaboration is going to get it done with, and we're going to try and manage as many risks as possible to get it done in time. Thank you.
Right on.
We'll now have 4 minutes for questions from our judges.
Hi, great job, by the way. Thank you, guys, for being here. You mentioned with United, I saw that there was a structuring. I'm trying to think about the additive nature for their business. And certainly the return on the marketing investments and sponsorship and IP and all that is understood. But it was mentioned that there might be late night flights, and then it was mentioned that there was an optimization of within their schedule patterns, and it was mentioned that they would have the opportunity to preload and pre-book what those inventories would be, the seats would be. Some of those kind of pull apart at each other, so how would you clarify in working with United, being able to optimize the schedule and then thinking about late night versus their competition on the field and the courts?
Yeah, absolutely. So when the Big Ten is setting their schedule, I think they would be working directly with people at United who are aware of all of those potential conflicts between certain decisions they'll have to make. And so that is just something that, through that process, it's truly a partnership where the Big Ten's not telling United, hey, we need this. There will be times where they might have to be like, hey, this has to happen this way. But it's truly a partnership where they're going to be working together. And so it's all about, making it beneficial for both parties through those agreements, which are happening, at least a year in advance traditionally, if not further.
Hi, guys. I really liked the ingenuity here and good connection to solving a problem. As we know in the college landscape, nil and image likeness is emerging quickly. How could that benefit said sponsor, and or how do you see athletes playing into this program?
Yeah, great question. So when through this partnership, if you ever follow a lot of schools like social media account, a lot of times you'll see them posting pictures of them boarding the plane and like, we're taking off to go to Tempe, Arizona, to play Arizona State, and so their players are kind of associated with the brand and United already. What this partnership would do is provide direct, better access for these athletes instead of trying to go out and field, offers from, other airlines. United will be a direct pipeline there. So United can leverage these athletes' social media accounts and, set up an NIL deal where maybe they're, taking pictures on the plane or going live on Instagram Live while on the United flight, showing off like cool features of the plane. There's a lot of different opportunities where United can partner with the athletes individually. Additionally, when through these family discounts, like that's good PR for United that we're helping out these families to come see their players play, and the athletes in these deals, thanking United on social media and with a picture of their family in front of the plane, like thanks for getting my parents out to Ann Arbor for this game, and so that's how the athletes can be more involved on the deal side.
So I know you talked about the connection from a brand perspective and what this means for both sides. Do you think that it has incremental impact from a financial perspective for both?
Can you clarify the question a little bit?
So some of the examples that you brought up were all kind of brand related. So awareness, affinity, or somewhat affinity based on who the athlete is. But do you see this driving revenue for both sides?
This is the major risk that we said, that it's very hard to put a monetary term on the ROI that the airlines or the conferences would be getting from this. Since the major benefit for both of them is marketing, we cannot have a financial number put to it. But we know it will increase their viewership, will increase their brand awareness, so it will help them both for sure.
Yeah, and furthermore, when you're looking at flights, there's about an 85% capacity that's being filled on these flights. So about 10 to 15% of most flights are not being booked. And so United would be, while at a discounted fare, they would be filling otherwise potentially empty seats. And so that is some additional revenue they would be getting outside of the, branding ROI.
Just a quick follow-up. What Eric asked about is who's going to be the decision maker in all this? Because what we have is you have schools, you have conferences, you have United, and then the players. And obviously, everyone wants the players, and players are sexy, and they're going to sell, and it's exciting. But there's school responsibilities, there's revenue responsibilities, there's category revenue responsibilities for the schools, for the conference. So when the rubber meets the road, is it United calling the shots? Is it the school? Is it the agents of the athletes? Where do you see that?
Yeah, I see that being the conference being kind of the calling the shots there, and that's a big reason this partnership's at the conference level and not the school level, is because they can have like a unified front. So it'd be the conference's responsibility to make sure that it's best representing the needs and desires of each of the individual schools, and then telling United, hey, this is what we're looking for. How can we make this happen? And then that's when that partnership comes into play, where they strategically navigate and figure out how United can reach those goals for the Big Ten. On the athlete front, that would be more the individual schools helping the athletes connect with the Big Ten rep and United. But the overall decision maker on most things would be the Big Ten, and probably come from the commissioner or someone else high up.
Thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? We are the team from the Villanova University Charles Widger School of Law, specifically the Jeffrey Morad Center, and we're here today to present to you guys about a new business initiative between the Big East Conference, which Villanova is a part of, and an innovative new ticketing subscription-based platform called Fan Rally. And on the next slide, we're going to get it going. So we'd like to start off just by taking everybody through a little bit of the history of the ticketing industry, specifically throughout the world and the United States. And we'll get started in 80 AD at the Roman Empire in the Colosseum, where ticketing was first used as a way of facilitating large crowds through the Colosseum in order to view the gladiator fights that were going on there. Fast forwarding to the 1800s, where we started to see the first American-based sports that were performed in the United States, which was horse racing, specifically in Long Island. And we saw ticketing used in a similar method that they used in the Roman Colosseum, just to facilitate crowds. No one really had a specific seat, and it was just a way of kind of managing the crowd flow. Going on to the mid-1800s, where we saw baseball, America's pastime, really grow in popularity throughout the Northeast and the Midwest of the United States. Picture this, you're watching the New York baseball team play against Brooklyn. There's a crowd of 5,000 people there. They all paid 50 cents a ticket for general admission, no assigned seats whatsoever. And then as we went on, the first known ticket is held in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. It's a ticket that was used to attend a Cincinnati Red Stockings game. And again, it was 50 cents. There wasn't a specific seat number. It was just general admission. You come in, you find a seat, you sit down, you watch the game. And then moving on to the 1900s and further, we saw the advent of season ticket plans, mini plans. premium seating and other kind of innovative options in the ticketing industry. But there really hasn't been a change in a while. And we see a very prominent issue with the ticketing, specifically in college athletics, that we view Fan Rally as a way of solving. So on the next slide, we're going to kind of go through that problem. So the modern day consumer, they want to go to their favorite college games, basketball games, football games, and they buy a season ticket long package. But what do they do if they're not able to attend all of the games? They end up selling their tickets on the secondary market. But what happens when this happens is the tickets prices, first of all, they surge very high, and the team who is selling the tickets is missing out on really crucial purchaser data that they would get from a direct purchase from the customer from the team. So Fan Rally serves as a solution to this issue. On the next slide, we'll go through the solution. So teams can sell memberships directly to consumers, so they're not missing out on this purchaser data, and they are able to foster that direct relationship between the team and the consumer so they know who exactly is attending their games. And it allows them to kind of, maintain control of the inventory and other group experiences so they have an idea of who's actually attending their games. And in addition, it provides a consumer with more of a flexible access to the game. It's not like you buy a ticket to one game and then you have to go and sit in a specific seat. It's more of a subscription-based model where you log on month to month as the games get closer. You select a game that you would like to attend, and you're not given a general seat. You're kind of giving an area where you're going to be able to come in and watch the game. So it's more directed towards the younger consumer who's more familiar with subscription-based models. And now my colleague Alyssa is going to kind of tell you a little bit more about how it works.
Thank you, Zach. I'll now identify the 3 target aims of this partnership. Modern customers. These are younger fans who are comfortable with subscription-based services and are accustomed to making last-minute schedules. Second, it's crucial to acknowledge that our younger fans are living in a digital era, something that our previous generations haven't done before. They prefer flexibility, instant access, and value experiences that can be customized to their preferences. Lastly, the adoption of this innovative business model will leverage data for enhanced user experiences. By implementing this approach, the Big East Conference will be able to gather buyer and user data in ways that were previously unobtainable. On the next slide, please. I would like to draw your attention to some crucial insights concerning buyer personalization preferences. Research reveals that a substantial 71% of consumers anticipate companies to provide customized experiences. 76% of consumers actually experience frustration when those personalization preferences are not met. And even more telling, 78% of consumers confirmed that such tailored experiences actually enhance their likeliness of repurchasing. Research also shows that personalization drives a 10 to 15% revenue lift, which suggests that even small shifts in improving customer intimacy can create competitive advantages, resulting in 40% more revenue. Now that we've covered buyer personalization, on the next slide, I want to demonstrate how Villanova University actually implemented this approach with Fan Rally in 2021. Data has unveiled compelling insights into the spending preferences and behaviors of Villanova fans. And I'm excited at the idea of how this partnership will actually foster financial circulation within the conference. First, the renewal rate of the Wildcat Ticket Pass, which is Villanova's general basketball ticketing pass, from year 1 to 2 was 75%. And notably, of those that did not renew, 80% actually transitioned